How do you put it down?
I don't mess around with this.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go.
The agenda meeting for Beach Haven to order on Thursday, July 29th at 4:01 p.m. Would you please rise for the flag salute, led by Mrs. Bellmiller.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on a bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building and on the borough website, mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mr. Allen?
Here.
Mrs. Bowmiller?
Here.
Dr. Davis?
Here.
Mrs. Rutherford?
Here.
Mayor Lambert?
Here.
I have minutes for approval without formal reading, the agenda meeting of June 30, 2021, and the July 8th, 2021 special meeting.
Everybody have a chance to review those and make sure they're accurate? Okay. If so, is there a motion to approve the minutes from June 30th and July 8th, 2021?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Could I just ask everybody to speak into the microphone, because I forgot to put my hearing aids in and I really can't hear very well.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Ordinances, ordinance 2021-27C, an ordinance by the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, prohibiting the operation of any class of cannabis businesses within its geographical boundaries and amending section 212 of the code of the Borough of Beach Haven, final reading. This has been reviewed by the Land Use Board for appropriateness and compliance with the master plan, and they responded back that it was in compliance with the borough master plan, and the council is able to proceed.
Thank you. Since it is the second reading, we will open it to public comment. We will ask that Beach Haven residents and taxpayers get priority and go first, and please limit your comments to 2 minutes. We'll start with anybody in the room if they wish to speak first, and then we will go to our Zoom participants. Yes.
A little bit of notes here,
Oh, thank you.
just in case.
Covered up these quick things.
Yes, close as you can, is that okay? State your name and address for the record.
Teresa Grosso, 100 Glendola Avenue in Beach Haven. Basically, Jersey towns from Allendale to Wyckoff have said no. They've banned it. Look why they're banning it. Look into it. All LBI towns voted no. Why, if this idea is so good for Beach Haven, why is it that no one else on Long Beach Island sees this? Beach Haven is a small area of Long Beach Island. It's 2.3 miles from 12th to Nelson, with a school no less. This idea in and of itself is endangering our way of life here in Beach Haven, the life that we know and we love.
Ma'am, I
Sorry.
apologize for interrupting.
You can't hear me?
No, we can hear you, but the ordinance bans cannabis.
I know that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just stating why it should be banned.
Oh, okay.
If
Sorry,
that's
I didn't mean
okay.
to interrupt you, but it seemed like.
I know
Yeah.
what the ordinance is, but I want it banned forever.
This
No-
ordinance bans it forever.
I got it.
Okay.
But if I don't say what I want to say and banning it, then we have a problem.
I just want to make sure that.
No, I get it.
understood what-
We all understand that it's banned. We want to make sure it stays banned. And these are the reasons for it. Listen to your own police department, okay? We all know what they are up against, what's going on in this town right now with the craziness, the kids. We're in the papers all the time. I read the community on Facebook and what people are stealing things, bicycles, towels, chairs. Kids are in the road. It's crazy what's going on here. We need something else. we don't want to bring more issues here. What about the traffic? We can't deal with traffic now. It's another issue. I mean, we can't sweep all of this under the rug. I know you're against it, but I want to make sure everybody understands our reasons for being against it. In the opinion of the people that I've spoke to, not 100 people are 100% are against it, but the majority are. The majority of, they call us old Beach Haven. I don't know, do I be insulted because they're calling me old? Yeah, I am old Beach Haven. I remember when kids walked, there was no problem. And things were just wonderful here. That's why we chose to move here, to be here, to own a house here. We figured we would retire here. I don't know the way it's going, if we even want to see, if we could even see that in our future anymore. Again, I want to make clear that we're not necessarily against medical cannabis. We're completely against recreational cannabis. And if anybody here is going to say, well, we're not going to sell it to anyone that's under 21, that's BS. I come from New York. I know better. You want a joint, you're going to get it. So, I mean, I'm adamant and I'm emotional about this because it involves all of us, our children and our grandchildren. If we're going to make so much money, I don't really think that money is going to be useful when we need more police. We need more police vehicles. There's so much else involved that I don't really think you're really seeing the whole picture here. And maybe you are. Maybe everybody else, every other town that's banned it, maybe they don't know what they're talking about and you know something that they don't know. Tell us if you do. If you get numbers, projection numbers, well, what is that based on? Is this a guarantee? I mean, let's not change everybody's life. I believe your girls, your daughter and a friend, they want to do something with a skate thingamajiggy, which is fine, okay? Do you want a recreational cannabis dispensary right next to where they're going to be skating?
We're at 3 minutes.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to end it up now. I'm going to end it with this, okay? I've been reading a lot of emails sent. Somebody quoted, and I'm sorry if I'm misquoting here, but someone made the reference to that this dispensary must prevent loitering of not authorized individuals to limit the risk of break-ins and thefts. Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't get that 100% correct. Well, if they're selling this as a wellness center, okay, why is it even relevant? So again, we're just saying, let's stick with the program. Let's keep Beach Haven the way it was, where we could all enjoy it, meet to play tennis, to laugh, or to meet having breakfast and have a great day. That's all I really have to say, because I don't have enough time for all of this.
That's fine. Thank you.
Anybody else in the room would like to speak? Yes, Beth?
Sorry.
Mayor, did you want to do 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
2 minutes.
Two.
Okay, I'll talk fast.
Well, I mean, you know, I don't know how many people are on, if we have anticipated, you know, if you want to use a little flexibility.
All right, Ann Ergo, 122 Glendola. I have taught school for 35 years, have a master's in education. Okay, you know and I know that the adolescents are going to get it, just like they get weed now illegally and just like they get alcohol. Oh, sorry. I'm tall. All right. I am most concerned about the THC compounds entering the bloodstream and reaching the natural occurring receptors in the brain that cause this in children under 25. The brain is not developed until 25. And the area that it will intersect with is memory, learning, coordination, judgment, reaction time, hallucinations, paranoia, and emotional problems. This is what I'm concerned about. Who this happens to depends upon their genetic susceptibility. It wouldn't be every person under 25, but it's the same. Those are susceptible to heroin. They can't give it up. A severe form of marijuana abuse is called marijuana abuse disorder, particularly when marijuana is used at an early age. There's no cure. All right? Do you know that? All right. American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, number 106. Teenage marijuana use is at its highest level in 30 years. Today, THC in marijuana can contain 3 times more. Also, if you allow the marijuana to be sold, it is not going to be governed by the Food and Drug Administration. They can do anything. They can make it 2 and 3 times stronger. And why wouldn't they? Because it'll sell faster. Keep that in mind. In conclusion, cannabis disorder causes breathing problems, same as smoking cigarettes, decreased interest in academics, lower intelligence, mental problems such as schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, anger, and the risk of suicide.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I had to get this back. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the room that would like to speak?
Bob Grasso, 100 Glendola. I've been down in Beach Haven since 1982. I just got a couple of questions of why Nancy Davis thinks that this is inevitable. Yes, it's going to be inevitable, but why have it in Beach Haven? Do we need the money? If we need the money, we could do a lot of other things. We could put a casino. We could put a Easy Pass. So having money and the amount of money that we're going to get doesn't pay for the extra police. We need an outside auditing staff to audit this business. Major problems. The other thing I noticed from the literature of the people that want this marijuana here in Beach Haven, they use the term wellness. They never use the term getting high or getting stoned. Is the new marijuana don't make you high? Then why do people do it? So if you're not going to light up to get high, why have it? Which I don't understand. Semantics. Wellness definition has many definitions. And one of the definitions, exercise, eat properly, don't drink alcohol, don't do drugs. So I don't understand why we need it in Beach Haven. Anyone that smokes marijuana now can get it where they're getting it from. I have no problem with people smoking pot. However, do not want it sold in Beach Haven. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room?
Hello, my name is Patricia Conlon. I'm at 125 Glendola. My husband's family has had that house for 50 years. We have 4 generations that have been on this island in Beach Haven going back 100 years. As my neighbors have said, Teresa said, there's no good reason for it. Look what's happening to our kids nowadays. This is not what we need in their lives. This is not going to promote Beach Haven in any mind that I could ever imagine. Look what Ann talked about, the medical reasons, the developmental. This has a lasting effect on 25 and under. It's proven. It's Mayo Clinics. There's no denying it. There's no wellness under 25. People want to do things in the privacy of their homes. Fine. I don't want it transported between a store in Beach Haven to their house. This is not what we need. As Dawn said, it's getting high. It's not healthy. It's not what I don't want to see kids walking around stoned. It's not what these kids have enough challenges in their lives. And to package it up and just put a bow on it and say, oh, we'll be doing yoga. See, it's good. It's not good. Let's be real. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room like to speak?
I didn't understand Dan's response early on. Is this a dead issue?
Um,
Oh, I'm Bruce. Does this say Dan?
It says Dan.
Oh, sorry.
He has an alias. Hold on. There's an alias here?
That's good.
Is this a dead issue?
I'm the attorney. This ordinance bans it permanently.
And it's already been
The
approved?
only way to change it would have to be to introduce
A
another
new
ordinance
ordinance.
and have a first and second reading in public hearing.
Okay, so it's already been approved that this is banned.
Well, after you guys finish speaking and the council votes, then that's it.
Do I need to talk?
It's up to you. I mean,
Well, here's the,
I'm sorry.
oh, my time's up.
The council, the ordinance that the council is going to approve that they voted on unanimously at first reading bans cannabis. And that's what's on the table today for a second reading after listening to you. So the ordinance does do what everyone's so far has spoken in favor of.
Okay, so I will talk. All right, but I'm from the Bronx. So I printed everything up because I speak quickly. And I only have 3 minutes, so I'll give you a copy.
Thank you.
It's still working.
Yeah.
It's working.
Okay.
There is no other team. Is my clock running?
No.
No.
Hi, I'm Jack McEvely. We've owned a house at 1107 Bay Avenue since 1986. So I guess that means I'm fully vested in Beach Haven. My presentation has 3 components. 1, facts about cannabis. 2, the economics of cannabis. And 3, my final thoughts, which I hope are not my final thoughts, but my last thoughts. People talk about cannabis as if it's safe and wonderful. It's not. We're not talking about St. Joseph's aspirin for children here. Alex Berenson, a leading author and former reporter for the New York Times, recently wrote a book entitled Tell Your Children the Truth About Marijuana, Mental Illness, and Violence. It's a best-selling book. I suggest you read it. Here are some of the highlights. There is clear evidence that cannabis use is on the rise, especially in the under 25 demographic. Today's cannabis is not your grandpa's pot. It's much stronger and more potent. There is scientifically proven link between cannabis and psychosis. Additionally, there is a strong risk that if you smoke too much in your teens, you're at risk of developing schizophrenia, a devastating mental illness. Reefer madness is absolutely real. Today's cannabis is almost pure grade THC. It gets you higher faster. Vaping and food ingestion heightens this danger, especially food, as it often takes 30 minutes or so to get into your system because it has to work its way through the liver. And then we have witnessed a great rise in people being rushed to emergency rooms for overdosing on gummies. Never mind brownies. Cannabis makes you paranoid, which can lead to violent psychotic episodes. Psychosis is a high risk for violence. People who are psychotic commit serious crimes at rates 2 to 25 times greater than the average adult. A drug such as cannabis that induces paranoia increases the risk of violence. If you feel someone is a threat to you, you will feel justified in lashing out at them. Thank you. Get rid of your egg timer, will you, please? Ask the real experts about cannabis. Users will tell you that today's pot is stronger than ever before. Again, it's 100% pure THC. Parents of users talk about the suspension of the maturation process with their children. Psychiatrists verify that this maturation process in teenagers stops once they habitually use pot. If you speak to families, you'll know that there are family arguments like having conversations with an unruly teenager, even though they may be 25 to 40 years old. They just stop growing mentally. If you talk to the police, there will be an increase in crime. And also the police get a lot of calls from people who consider public consumption of pot as a sign of disorder. Also, there's another report that when Colorado legalized recreational marijuana, they witnessed a sharp rise in homelessness in the 18 to 25 age bracket. Homelessness in Colorado. So clearly, cannabis is not as addictive as heroin, but is more addictive than alcohol. Cannabis is clearly not a harmless drug. And again, we're not talking about debating St. Joseph aspirin for children here. Let's talk a little bit about the economics. In the booklet they put out in the Beach Haven Dispensary Project, they cited these figures. Projected sales of cannabis, 9 million plus. At an average sale of $44 or $40, that's 225,000 transactions. Think about that. 225 transactions in 1 year. This will certainly be the biggest retailer in the history of Beach Haven. Okay, put it in perspective. At the last Beach Haven census, we had 1,200 residents. And now we're going to have 225 transactions, meaning more traffic, car traffic, boat traffic, and where the hell will they park? Okay, they said the EBITDA is going to be $3.5 million. So the net profit is almost 40%. That leaves a midline expenses of $6.3 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Income to Beach Haven out of all of this, and all their generosity, is going to be $188,000, 2% of sales. That is clearly just a drop in the bucket. This will not be a windfall to Beach Haven. Let me go to my final thoughts. As I understand the situation, your decision has a 5-year lifespan, and you have to make the decision by August 21st. I think some in the council had already endorsed this project, and I'm not sure what their due diligence was before these talks. A wise council decision would be to not allow the pot shop and call it what it is, a pot shop, and revisit this whole issue after the true economics come out and the true benefits and detriment to the community. And lastly, if you decide to vote yes, that you want the pot shop, I would like to change the name of the city of Beach Haven from the Queen City to the pot capital of LBI. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the room who would like to speak? No? Oh, one more.
I just want to tell a little story. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody. My name is Debbie Basic. I'm from 1315 South Bay Avenue in Beach Haven. I've been coming here since I'm 17 years old. My husband's been coming since he's 7. I just want to tell a little story. Sorry if I get nervous. I'd like to thank everybody for being here. I'd like to thank the officers for their job that they do in keeping us safe in the community. I talked to a lot of people about this. I have no problem with medical marijuana. I have no problem with people if they want to smoke pot, that's their choice, as long as it doesn't interfere with others and the safety of others in the community. I've talked to a lot of people. One person I spoke with has a cottage up in Cape Cod. She's been going there for a lot of years, and they have since put in a marijuana dispensary up in Cape Cod in a town called Provincetown. So I was talking to her about this, and when I told her, I quote from her, let me just find it. "Oh my God, since they opened the dispensary, it's awful. People are double parked in the road. The crowds are unbelievable. The line to get in the place goes down the block and around the corner. There is no question as to where the pot shop is. Just look for the crowd." Is that what we really want in Beach Haven? Do we want our kids to be looking at all this, seeing this, be exposed to it? I don't want it. I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels, but that's just how I feel. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else at all in the room? Sherry, you want to open up to our Zoom participants?
Kate Sullivan?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First, I'd like to thank my friends and neighbors that are at the meeting.
Record?
I'm sorry?
State your address for the record.
Oh, 126 Glendola Ave, Beach Haven. I'd like to thank my friends and neighbors at the meeting for all of their comments and to thank the council and the police for their hard work. Now I'm going to pile on. To avoid repetition on the dangers of marijuana, which has been fully addressed, I would like to focus on the negative effect on the fabric of our community. Let's begin with the current trouble in our community. The crowds of unruly young adults, the traffic and parking issues, the destruction of property, which most recently was the street signs on Berkeley Ave stolen right out of their holders. The breaking into home sites, the property and beach damage, the litter in the streets and on the dunes, the obnoxious and loud behavior, the disrespectful and aggressive behavior in the streets, in the bike lanes, and on the sidewalks. We have moved from a family-friendly borough to a family beware and a family be intimidated borough. Do we really want to add all that comes with a dispensary to this in our community? Do we really want the stench of pot on our streets? Do we really want the babies and children, the developing infants that are walking through Bay Village, going on the rides, supposedly having fun on their vacation? Do we really want them inhaling these odors? And although they can't speak for themselves, the babies and children of our community must be heard. I have a brand new granddaughter. I would never bring her downtown right now. And you think adding marijuana to this situation will be helpful? The precautions that will be necessary, the police, more lights on the streets, the bike police, the traffic police, security systems all around, will take away from any so-called tax benefit. In conclusion, this is a slippery slope. We don't want it now. We don't want it ever in our community. I resent having to devote time and energy in my place of respite to keeping marijuana out of our town. But believe me, we will continue this fight, and we will continue it to keep pot out of our town forever. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other Zoom participant that would like to be heard who is a Beach Haven resident, please raise an electronic hand. Paul Sullivan?
Yes, can you hear me?
State your address.
Yes, my name is Paul Sullivan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. I live at 126 Glendola Avenue. You just heard from my wife, and as she said, I will repeat. I'll try not to be redundant. I'm a 50-year resident of Long Beach Island. My parents had a home in Brighton Beach for 25 years, and Katie and I have lived in Beach Haven for almost 25 years. My wife and I moved from 9th Street to Glendola 2 years ago. We moved from 9th Street to Glendola for one reason and one reason only. And that was because it just became too unbearable. The noise, the disruption, the number of kids that were walking down 9th Street in packs and droves, carrying open beer bottles, leaving them on our front yard. It was a shame, absolutely a shame. You know, when we bought that house 20 plus years ago, it was just a wonderful community, and we loved our neighbors then, and we love our neighbors now. And we were lucky or blessed that we could move from that street to a more quiet area of Beach Haven. But we left that part of Beach Haven because it just became unruly. And I can't imagine what it will be when you open a dispensary. If you open a dispensary, I fear that more of Beach Haven will become like that, and we will leave because I can afford to leave, and others will leave too. We'll just go to the north end of the island, and that's what will happen. There's a lot of affluence in Beach Haven, and people can afford to move. Here's what I would ask the council. Are you making the decision for the business community or the residential community? And whose voice should essentially be heard? I'm curious as to why a survey was never sent out. You know, when a decision of this magnitude is being made, why wouldn't a survey have been sent out to all of the residents? A separate standalone survey. We have 1,200 residents. And there's always this debate, you know, if you don't live in Beach Haven full time, your voice doesn't matter. We pay taxes. I pay taxes as though I live here full time. Why wouldn't my voice matter? If you send a survey to 1,200 residents, I would venture to guess that 80% of them would vote against the dispensary. I spent 2 hours handing out flyers at Murphy 2 weeks ago. And 80% of the people that I handed the flyers out to, and I screened them before handing the surveys out or the flyers out. I said, do you live and do you own a home in Beach Haven? And they said yes. And I gave them the flyer, and 80% of them immediately stopped and said, I'm dead set against it. Thank you for handing out the survey. The consumption, it's been talked about. They're going to smoke marijuana on the streets, and the police can't do anything about it, and we know that. There are no laws that they can enforce. People are going to smoke it in their cars, and if the cars are parked, there's nothing the police can do. There are no laws that they can enforce.
Oh, that's 3 minutes.
And then the last thing I'll say is the tax revenue, and Jack talked about 188,000 divided by 1,200 homes is $156 per household. Raise our taxes. Raise our taxes. I'll pay $156 more to keep the dispensary out of town. Thank you very much to the borough for your efforts and to the police department for what they do on behalf of our residents every single day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam Sherman.
Hey, hello everybody. How are you? Adam Sherman, 318 Stratford Avenue, voter and resident of town. I'm actually rising to speak against a majority of my community members today, and oppose the resolution that is in front of the council. I'm disappointed in the short-sighted decision of the council to approve the ban of dispensaries within town. This is something that I think is a failure of your leadership to really take the fact-based evidence to make an informed decision. What I feel today is that there's been a lot of conversation that has been brought up that has garnered nothing more than really fear-mongering about what could happen, what can happen, without the council doing its due diligence to really look into the facts that has happened around once dispensaries have been approved within communities around our country. Crime has gone down. Alcohol-related injuries have gone down. The amount of violence has gone down, not up. Those who are of age and able to purchase the marijuana have done it respectfully. I can think of nothing more than the word fear mongering that this conversation that I've listened to has instilled and presented to this council. And I would urge the council to reconsider their ban and create a responsible resolution that will both protect the community of Beach Haven, but also open up the dispensary and allow people to consume marijuana legally and responsible. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Amanda Burden.
Hi, Amanda Burden, 218 Amber Street, Beach Haven. I just heard something Mr. Sullivan said, and I wanted to speak to agree with him. I agree that many people listening on this call agree with the folks who have risen to speak against creating a marijuana dispensary in Beach Haven. And I think many of us are just hearing folks say things in a way that makes a lot of sense, especially those who've cited the examples of what's happened in towns like Provincetown, which is really, if you've seen it in person, is really something. So I just wanted to say, don't assume silence is disagreement. Silence may very well be agreement with the idea. I'm not even sure which direction this proposal is going in, but against creating marijuana shops in Beach Haven. I think there's a lot of support for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other Beach Haven resident on the Zoom portion of this meeting like to be heard? You can raise an electronic hand. You can find that under your participants tab. If you're on a regular phone, you can *6 to announce yourself, or you can go ahead and unmute yourself and announce yourself. Hugh Giordano?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Hugh Giordano, Blackwood, New Jersey. Council, I'm here today as a representative of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, UFCW. We're a national labor union of 1.3 million hardworking families, and we are the official cannabis labor union under the guise of the AFL-CIO. We are also working in conjunction with our union brothers and sisters in the building trades, such as the steam fitters, the IBEW, carpenters, who will be doing the retrofit and build out of these facilities. So in saying that, cannabis jobs create good middle-class jobs with benefits, living wages, healthcare, sick time, vacation time, retirement, things that matter to working class people. And this is real life data. We currently represent the facilities here in New Jersey. So I know what they're getting in their collective bargaining agreement, and I know how it creates middle-class jobs. Also, the folks that work in this industry are educated adults, people with degrees in chemistry, horticulture, botany. We even have pharmacists that work in these facilities. So when folks say that there's no economic impact, on top of the tax base, you're getting a working class tax base that's going to live there and work there. And since 1990, the citizenship has been declining under the census anyways. So having a dispensary is not going to change that from stopping. In fact, it's going to help it from stopping, because it's going to attract young people to live there and work there. And that's just the reality of it. In fact, there's many articles that you can find that talk about home values going up when cannabis comes in. Because why? It attracts a young, educated workforce. There's also plenty of articles that you could find to dispel many of the fear-mongering myths that have been talked about today, that say that opioid use goes down, that when a legal market is in place, that young use, underage use goes down. And let's explain about that why. You have a couple facilities that sell liquor, such as the Rommers and Craft Oyster Bar. When our members deliver Jim Beam, because we represent Jim Beam and Bacardi, does anybody think that those workers are giving out liquor to young people? No. Having a legal facility will make sure that the workers are there, they're trained, people are ID'd, no young people walk into that place. The drug dealer, the person who sits there and sells other things outside of cannabis, is the person who's the gateway. On top of that, the CRC is a regulatory commission which looks over it. So they already have restrictions on the high density THC levels, and that in law, already. So no one can come in and just create higher density. There's other doctors in New Jersey, such as David Nathan at the University of Penn, at the University of Princeton, that support this. Ken Wolski of the Coalition of Medical Marijuana, who's an RN. So you could find real doctors and healthcare officials who could talk against this misspellings. I would also like to, yes.
We're at 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll close it up by saying I would hope that the council would do two things. One, come visit the Garden State Dispensary in Woodbridge, see the sale operation. You can see it for yourself. You don't have to hear about it anymore from people saying, I heard it from this person, I heard it from this person. And second, the city of Bayonne passed an ordinance 3 months ago, very conservative. Eatontown, Aberdeen, Somerville, Woodbury, West Cape May, and Lower Township, all beach towns, those last ones, passed it to allow it. So it's not something new. It creates good jobs for the working class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bruce Chitsey.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep, state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, this is Bruce Chidsley, 130 Glendola, Beach Haven. How is everybody? I apologize. I'm on a cell phone. I just got out of a grand jury, sitting out of a grand jury, so I'm here a little bit late, so I apologize. But I just wanted to make it known that, as the Sullivans have said, and a bunch of others, that we are certainly dead against this, having cannabis in our town. And I've sent out many blogs and some information that I've collected. And although the people that are pro cannabis can make it sound flowery as they want, like we're putting a church in the community, it's not going to be that, let me tell you. And all I want to say is keep this in mind. Do we want a family-friendly town, or do we want a pot-friendly town? We've got a lot of problems right now with the adolescents and the young kids and all the things that we're seeing day in and day out. We don't need to add something else. And, to continue to say that it's the same as alcohol, that we've got alcohol, why not? There's a lot of reasons why not. And I just want everybody to understand that there is a lot of educated people on this side as well against it. To say that only educated people on the other side are aloof to that is not factual. It's unfortunate. I see how many people on this call. I wish there was everybody in the town on this call, because I think you would get a groundswell of people not wanting this to happen. So hopefully you could hear me. I'm on a cell phone. I thank the council and the mayor for doing a fantastic job. And please keep this out of our town. We don't need this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other member of the public wish to be heard? You can raise an electronic hand.
No? And we will close the floor to public comment. And is there a motion to approve ordinance 2021-27C?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mayor, just to be clear to the council and the public, a yes vote now bans cannabis indefinitely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Yes.
Dr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Rutherford.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-28, the capital ordinance of the Borough of Beach Haven in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing various water system improvements by and for the borough, and appropriating therefore the sum of $200,000 from the Water Capital Improvement Fund of the Borough of Beach Haven. First reading. This is for a water main replacement to add that to the Pelham Avenue, Pennsylvania project.
Since it is first reading, there is no public comment. And just to reiterate, emphasize the fact that this is self-funded.
Yes.
So is there a motion to approve 2021-28?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller. Yes. Dr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Rutherford.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Ordinance 2021-29C, an ordinance amending Chapter 13, First Aid Squad of the Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, first reading.
I just wanted to just introduce this ordinance, and what this ordinance does is it updates our current ordinance with the New Jersey Department of Health, who ultimately determines the eligibility of an EMT in New Jersey. So just thank you for allowing the Beach Haven First Aid Squad for me to work with you. If you are, I don't see anyone here, but if you're on Zoom, and this is the first reading, like the mayor said, so there is no public comment.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you for all your work and along with the First Aid Squad. Is there a motion to approve 2021-29C?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Yes.
Dr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Rutherford.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 151 is authorizing a refund of the annual lease fee for slip number 5. 152 is acknowledging a mayoral appointment to the Library Board of Trustees. 153, accepting and executing a grant agreement with the NJ Department of Environmental Protection for electric vehicle charging stations. 156 is appointing an emergency management officer. It's actually reappointing an emergency management officer. 157 is authorizing the purchase of tie valves. And I just received from the CFO Resolution 158, authorizing the refund of a tax overpayment.
Has everybody had a chance to read the resolution? Are there any questions or concerns?
I have, and I would like to remove Resolution 152, 2021 for further discussion.
And what discussion would you like to initiate?
Let's usually we vote.
Don't we usually remove it first
Okay.
and then
All right. I'm
discuss?
sorry. Okay. Is there a motion to approve all except 152-2021?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Allen.
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller.
Yes.
Dr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Rutherford.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
All right. The reason I would like to remove this has nothing to do with the appointment of Kathy Kelly. I like and respect her, and I think she'd be an excellent addition to the library board. I just think this appointment is being made hastily and without the consultation of the existing library board or the council. In the past, the library board and the council have had a say in who has been appointed to the board. This helps breed camaraderie amongst the members who work so tirelessly, can't say that, on the board. I also think we need to think strategically about the future of the library and bring more young people onto it. Most of the board members, in fact, practically all the board members are over 75. I believe the town would be better served if we found a way to include more younger voices on the board. I hereby ask that we delay the appointment until the council and the library board have had some time to be consulted and talk about it. There are things that can be done, such as increase the number of people on the library board. But I do think we have to think strategically. I think this is very important. We do not want to jeopardize our library. I know many times when I was mayor and on council, people from the county had come to me to try to take over, to get us to become part of the county system. If we were to do that, we would lose our library. Probably would be just a reading library. It wouldn't have books in it, wouldn't be open as frequently. In addition to that, it would cost us a lot more money. It would cost the taxpayers more money. So I think it's important that we think about this and try to come up with develop some camaraderie and discuss this. Michael.
Thank you. Anybody else want to weigh in on this?
I just also like to discuss this as well. A few of the library representatives did reach out to me as well and asked for the same. And I do think that they should have some type of say in who is on the library board. It does promote camaraderie. It helps with less divisiveness when there's multiple people for one position, and you can properly go about with some type of interview to see, who would be the best fit. So if that could be a possibility, I would like to see that as well.
I'd like to say another thing. Jamie had said to me, and I really agree with her, that there are a few things that you don't want to mess around with too much. And not just the library is one of them, but the others are our volunteer organizations. And I'm happy we could come to some agreement with the First Aid Squad. I think that was great. And as well, the volunteer fire company, we have people that are really putting a lot of time and energy into running these organizations. And I think we need to really interact with these people and make sure that we're listening to what they say.
Thank you.
Is this what's happened before? Like, so obviously this is new for me. Have you had interactions with the libraries?
When I was mayor, and actually even before I was mayor, when I was on council, when Chuck was mayor and Bob Keeler was mayor, normally the mayor did talk to the library board and ask them who they thought might be good or what kind of profile of a member they would like. And there always was some discussion in the past with the council. I mean, I never just appointed anybody without talking to the other council members about it.
Okay.
But it is the mayor's prerogative to appoint that person.
And do they have somebody that they want to?
Yes,
be?
Okay. There is a person who I said, I have no problems with that person, who would like to be on the board, but she is 76 and that there's not, I mean, I am older than that. So I have no problems with age. I just think that because pretty much all our appointed members are older than 75.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things we could do. We could increase the number on the library board, but I think there should be some discussion to have some strategic idea of how we do this, because all these people are elderly, and it would be nice to have the elderly people that have worked tirelessly to make our library as special as it is, to be able to pass their ideas down to these younger people who hopefully will remain long-term members on the library board. And as they get older, we'll continue to seek younger members.
And I'm assuming the library board has people on there that they want to appoint.
They
have
asked the principal of the Beach Haven School to give them a list of people they think. They would love to have a parent of a child in the Beach Haven School on the board. But I think there's room to discuss it. I'm not saying that doesn't mean we can't appoint Kathy Kelly. I just think we should have a discussion and some kind of strategic decision as to how to move forward with this.
Okay, just so I understood. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, do you have anything?
Yeah, could I weigh in, please?
Sure.
Okay. I have to say, I know Kathy fairly well, and I think she would be a great addition to the board. I do understand the need to, consult with the library board as well to see, who would they would like to see, what kind of person they would say. But, I'd have to say, the people I know in town, I think she'd be great at it. I would endorse her, but again, I'm not on the library board. I don't have a lot of interaction with them. So, I would have to say maybe a discussion with them would be in our best interest. So.
Okay.
Thank you. I have to tell you, I'm a little perplexed here because I've been a lifelong member of the Beach Haven Library, so I'm very familiar with the library. I know for the past 10 years or so that older members have all been voted onto the board, and that's no secret, the median age. So it's kind of complex. It's perplexing to me now that all of a sudden age has become an issue. And I think I'm also confused because the mayor has made appointments before. We know that without consulting anybody. I remember distinctly Ruth Strong, when she was appointed, the library board objected, but the mayor made the appointment, and that was that. I know recently Mr. Gavigan was appointed, and I didn't know the gentleman, but I know that it was presented that he was already asked and he had agreed, and that was it. At that time, the library board actually upped their membership to accommodate that. So the precedent is there. That's why I'm a little confused. I asked Kathy Kelly because she not only is a former library board member, she's a former school board member, she's a former administrative secretary for 25 years, confidential secretary, a very long time member of Beach Haven, very active in the library, takes her children to story hour, her grandchildren. So she's very familiar. We have Dr. Myrick on the board who represents the younger group, and I think that's important. And I'm just confused because all of a sudden now it's important that everybody gets consulted where that hasn't been past practice. So I would like to see Kathy Kelly appointed, and I appreciate what you're saying. I just said, my point is that we have a precedent, and it's not what everybody's saying now all of a sudden. And that's, I guess, the part that I really don't understand, because we have an excellent candidate, and she is my choice.
So legally, it's the mayor's appointment, and advice and consent of the council is not required. I know traditionally the council just votes to acknowledge it, but from a legal perspective, if the vote to acknowledge it is a no vote, the appointment would still stand under the statute that gives the power to the mayor of
Okay, I appreciate everything my co-council members said. I think it was important. I'm just saying that it's just kind of odd that all of a sudden it's coming now. And, I would certainly be receptive going forward, but I think right now at this point in time, this is the candidate I would like to see fill this position.
Let me just say one thing. There really hasn't been a new appointment to the library board probably for 10.
No, Jack Abigan was more recently.
Okay.
Who? Jack Abigan.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Jack
So
Abigan, yes.
If the mayor, have you made now your decision?
Oh, that's true, and he
passed away. He was still appointed to the library board, but
That's
the
right.
point still is valid.
I think the mayor has made clear that her appointment is this individual, and so that would stand. So the council's
Okay.
choice now is to either
That's right, Jack.
by consent, just table the motion, or if you want to formally procedurally vote on the motion, you can either vote to table it or vote no or vote yes.
Chris, I'm confused. I thought you had just said that regardless of what we do, she's still her legal right to appoint who she wants to, whether we agree or not.
Yeah, that's correct, but you still have a motion on the floor. So you can either just let that motion die and table it, or you can vote no if you want to, but that would have no legal impact on the appointment.
Right.
So the appointment would
It's just a
stand,
procedural issue to resolve this motion that's outstanding.
right, but the appointment would stand anyway.
Correct.
You have resolution 152, 2021.
So you could vote to, you could make a motion to table it or a motion to approve it.
Well,
Or the motion to approve it.
it's
you
a
could vote no.
new point, so.
Right, correct.
So I would just say,
Vote to table it,
Table
or
it.
make a motion to table it. Is there a second on that?
doesn't matter.
Okay, if there's no second, then the motion to table would just die, and
We can move
there's no
on.
further action.
Right,
Then the original main motion would just die procedurally.
All right, so we move on now.
I have a bill list this evening in the amount of $1,730,172.26.
Has everybody had a chance to review the bills?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions or concerns? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mrs. Ball Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Davis,
Yes.
Mrs. Rutherford.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Under general discussion, we wanted to discuss the proposed fireworks dates for Fantasy Island. Did you have this in front of you, Jamie, or did you need it?
I have it.
Talk about it. And I see Brian in the room.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So we have a number of dates before you to be approved for fireworks dates. Just to run through them quickly, it's the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. Typically, we have our Touch a Truck event in the spring, but we were concerned about COVID and moved it to the fall. So the late September date is for the Touch a Truck event. All the proceeds from the ride band sales that night goes to our first responders. Then we have Kite Festival. We try to lure the folks that are in Ship Bottom and Barnegat Light down to our neck of the woods.
So did you skip the 24th?
No, that
24th is Touch a Truck.
So what's the September 4th?
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just added a rain date just in case there. 24th is Touch a Truck. October 9th is the Kite Fest. October 23 is our last weekend. And then we're going to try to create this first night Beach Haven concept with either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, depending upon what the weather will allow for. And we had presented that previously, but obviously last year was not the year to try it.
I like that. First night beach haven.
I saw the proposed dates. I personally see no problems with those. The birds will be finished nesting by then, and I know people really enjoy it, and I thank you for your commitment to Beach Haven.
Thank you.
I just had one concern.
Uh-oh.
No, it's not. That's just with the Labor Day. Now, I know it's the end of summer. It's just that we're just having such a problem at the end of Bay Village, and Sunday night of Labor Day, I think is going to be an extraordinary difficult night for the police. And this is just adding to the excitement down there, which I'm okay with. It's just, I would really like to hear from the chief on the Labor Day Sunday. Is he still here?
Yes,
Chief?
he is.
No pressure, Chief.
Just with our adolescents, I was concerned that this would just be, and it's the end of the season. I didn't know if that would be a
See if
problem.
this is this on? All right, it will definitely, it'll definitely be more difficult for us. We're not going to be able to shut down the parking lot like we do for July 4th. So it's going to have to run like he does the rest of them, as long as the town's okay with that. We're not going to be able to shut down the parking lot down there, but
So that's gonna be a little,
usually what happens is by Labor Day, we start to lose a lot of our summer officers to college and stuff like that. So that's where it becomes an issue.
Okay.
July 4th isn't a problem because we have everybody.
okay, so that's the main date that we're gonna have. I'm gonna have a problem with, just with what's happening with the adolescents and our police officers, and for the safety of everyone. That's the only date that I really have a problem with. And just the times, if we could, the 9 o'clock last year, I mean, because it gets dark at like 7:45, and then by 9 o'clock, I know you want to keep it later for the businesses, but
Right.
if we could bring it back a little bit to like maybe even 8:30, I think that would be more.
Okay.
for us.
We can certainly adjust the times as it gets later in the season. Really, it's just making sure that it's dark enough,
Oh, yeah,
and
well,
that time adjust. But I just like to remind everybody that we've done the Labor Day show this would be our 4th consecutive year without issue. Previously, we've had no issue whatsoever.
Okay, it's just with this year, it's.
And so it's become an annual event that people do look forward to. And I can tell you the number of calls that we've received asking, because we have not put it on our calendar yet, has been significant. And it is significantly material to the businesses in town. They've all shared that.
I do think that, I know we've had a lot of problems this year, but a lot of kids go back to school before Labor Day or immediately after Labor Day. It isn't quite as busy as it is on, say, It's not nearly as busy as on the 4th and Memorial Day. So I can't really, I don't remember Labor Day being that crazy. I mean, the colleges are all starting, most of them before that. So a lot of, you lose the police, and also a lot of the businesses lose their employees.
Right.
Yeah, I know we've done this in the past, and I don't have any problem doing it again. Like you said, with the issues we've had this summer, it would, kind of take a little bit of a chance. But usually by that time of the year, a lot of the kids are back in college. Kids are already starting school. People from out of state are back, getting ready to go back to school. Labor Day is not usually as busy as the rest of the time. So, I mean, we can make it work. It's just, I can't guarantee I'm going to have enough people to shut down that parking lot. I believe, did we use the fire company the one year I think we might have used the fire company to help us, which is an option we might be able to look into, is looking to fire police help us shut down that area a little bit. So
do we shut down the parking lot for 4th of July?
4th of July we do. Yeah.
Oh, shutting it down like with people coming in and out.
Yeah, we don't let cars. We don't let cars.
Yeah. Okay.
Once we go down there, we don't let cars in after we set up.
Okay.
And then we don't let cars start to leave the parking lot until
It's over.
the majority of the pedestrians are gone.
Okay.
So that's the only problem. But I know in past years, I think we might have, I'd have to look back at my notes, but I think we might have just let it run. And I think there was one year we might have used the fire police.
Okay.
But we'll make it work. If the council wants to do it, we can make it work. So.
Brian, my concern is that last year we did 3, is that correct?
Free fireworks shows?
Yeah, 3 fireworks shows after 4th of July. Did you do 3 last year? No.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I give you the right
No, I
answer.
appreciate that because I know some people talked about, the PTSD, the dogs and all that. And, it's a concern for them. I like fireworks, but, I don't want to, I'm just wondering if we can't compromise it if we did do 3, but you're saying that's not.
Well, in 19, we did September 1st, October 5th, and October 12th.
Okay. Great. So we did the 3. I'm just wondering, can we compromise at 4? And if Labor Day weekend might be a problem, take that one out and go with the rest? I mean, I'm not married to that, but I just thought that might be a compromise.
The additional one is because we moved the Touch a Truck event, which will help us raise more funds. I mean, there's really a purpose to each and every one of these that I think have a significant benefit to both the community. I've got 2 dogs. I appreciate all of those issues. I think the more frustrating thing is when it goes off at 11:15 on a random Thursday night. This is scheduled. You can prepare for it. You can have the dogs either, somewhere, turn the TV up, give them, CBD, God forbid.
That was really funny.
I'm just saying, I do for my dogs. It works.
What so when you did the Touch a Truck in the spring, did y'all have fireworks then too?
No, there was a passionate decline on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I will say that I did listen intently, and I am investigating I would like to continue to do more things in town. And for the spring shows, I know that the fireworks are out, but we are looking into potentially, we're evaluating drone shows, which is something that's up and coming, and we just have not had the opportunity. I want to see one firsthand.
Sure.
And so that'll be something that won't be environmentally impacting in the spring, and the fireworks we can do later in the season. So there'll be a nice balance there.
And remember, these are little shows. I mean, they're not like the 4th of July fireworks.
Right.
I mean, I remember one year I was having dinner somewhere and I heard the fireworks and I went outside and it lasted like 5 or 6 minutes. It wasn't even that long, but people were thrilled. I mean, I think it really makes people feel good, and it's a short display. It's not.
It is, yes.
How long is it actually?
It ranges depending upon what we plan on different shows, but we've done as short as 6, we've done as long as 11, just depending upon what the year looks like and what Jack can squeeze in for us and what size barge, frankly, we can get, which is sometimes the challenge, what we can safely fit on the barge.
I mean, I know it cost you a lot of money, and I thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Thank you.
That's mine.
Dan, did you have anything to say?
Yeah, I just had a question for the chief if he wants. Year over year, I mean, is this year extraordinary as far as dealing with the kids, just based on the new Juvenile Reform Act. I mean, if you got a bunch of cars in there and a big pile of unruly kids, I mean, that could be a recipe for disaster, on Labor Day.
Yeah, I don't see this being anywhere near as big as the 4th of July, and we were able to take care of that. I don't think we'll have any problem dealing with Labor Day.
Okay.
Well, between us, and I'm sure we can get some volunteers from the fire police to help us out with some traffic if need be. Maybe we could sit down and discuss it before the event happens, so we can work some stuff out. So,
okay.
But I'm confident we can make it happen.
Well, I have your attention. How has it been lately up there? Has it been improved?
It's improving. The LBI shuttle picking up the kids at 11 is definitely helping. Teen nights add some issues to it when they change the amount of kids that are allowed in. But we're doing that, and we're going to have some conversations with the teen nightclubs.
Okay.
So although we don't have a resolution in front of us, Brian's here to get the consensus so that they can start to process their paperwork. Once we go through the paperwork process and everything has been approved, then a resolution will come back to the council for final approval for the fireworks. But today the purpose is to get the dates nailed down so that they can start their paperwork process. So we need to come to a consensus.
Well, I'll go first. I mean, if the chief says he can handle Labor Day, I have no problems with that.
Thank you.
Are you saying all 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm okay with all 5. I think that's pretty cool though about the December 31st looking to do a first night thing. That's a big thing in some other towns. That might be, well, we
I can tell you,
would.
my crew loves being on the barge in the winter.
I'm sure they do.
They absolutely love it. They look forward to it all summer.
Yeah, I mean, it may draw in some people, but it just would be good for our community of people too. So I'm okay with it. I got no problem.
I am as well.
Okay.
Yay.
Nancy?
Yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's your answer.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Wainwright, leave. I thank you privately, but I'd like to thank you publicly for
Mhm.
your inviting all the employees. I know you call it Heroes Day, but all the borough employees, I think it's just Long Beach Island and Stafford.
Yes.
That's very generous of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
The next item under general discussion is some proposed ordinances. Proposed 2021-30C is updating the drug-free school zone maps. These maps have been prepared by Frank Little's office. We've reviewed them, and it's simply adopting the new dates on the maps. So if you don't have any questions with that, at the next meeting, I'll put that on for first reading. 2021-31C is updating the smoking ordinance to include all items that can be smoked at this point, prohibiting them in the municipal parks and recreation areas, including the beaches.
That's including cannabis.
And Chief can confirm this for me, but he also said that even if a juvenile is smoking cannabis in the park, that they would be, cited for that. Right, Chief, about the smoking ordinance that we're talking about right now?
The juveniles, we were able to give them warnings for the smoking of the cannabis?
Just warnings?
Yes.
Okay.
But they can be escorted
We can
off the
kick
beach.
them out of the park for, if they're smoking
Right.
anything, we can kick them out of
Right.
the park.
Right,
It is a violation.
right. So, but they can,
But we're not gonna arrest them, we're not gonna get charged.
right. Right. Unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And then the final ordinance proposed is 2021-32C. This is a change to the zoning ordinance for the BD district, and I'll hand that to Jamie.
Okay, so, we've been working diligently on all of the different zones in Beach Haven. Things have been changing. There's been a lot of development recently, especially in the last 2 years. It really started, I guess, in, 2018, where we had a zoning ordinance in the business district that would prohibit anything backwards, that you would have to have a front facing on Bay Avenue, and you would not allow to have driveways in or out of Bay Avenue because of the traffic. So moving forward with changes in the business district, what this ordinance does it will now establish that you would only be able to have a commercial unit on the first floor. You would be able to have apartments on the second floor, but you would not be able to tear down a commercial business and put up a single family home. What this ordinance also does is that it also puts in a clause stating that all single family homes that are currently in the business district could always be a single family home. They can be sold as a single family home. They could be demolished and rebuilt as a single family home. So it doesn't take away anything from people that have single family homes already on Bay Avenue. But I do think this is important to protect our business district. We see a lot of different trends of, commercial establishments being eliminated. And ultimately, we have a really special business district, and I'd like to keep that available to Beach Haven. Long Beach Township did pretty much identical ordinance, and we're following suit to protect our integrity of our business district.
Jamie, I want to say I thank you so much for getting this together. I've been trying to do this for 10 years, and I think it really is going to be a benefit to Beach Haven.
Agreed.
Okay, so then if there's no objections to these at the next meeting, you'll see those for introduction.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, we are now to the public comment portion. Please raise your hand. We'll start with the room first or go to the Zoom when we're done. I guess we can go 3 minutes since we seem to have a little bit of time. And yes.
Yes. James Kraus, 77 Bayside Drive, Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. But also 1 Ocean Street, where my mother has been a resident for about 35 years. And our family's been coming here since 1965, so I think that's 56 years.
Can you repeat your name for me? I'm sorry.
Yes, James Kraus, K-R-A-U-S-S. I came here primarily because Atlantic Highlands is, we've got a bit of a battle locally. We just moved back from Zoom to in person, and we've been, many of us been trying to get the hybrid, and I want to see how you work here, and I think it's tremendous. You're doing a great job, particularly for the residents who can't be here in person. So I'm going to report back on that. Secondly, I'm actually on the cannabis task force in Atlantic Highlands, appointed by the mayor to research whether we should have a dispensary there. And I've done a tremendous amount of research on towns across the country that have dispensaries. And quite frankly, I think Beach Haven is a place where you should not have a dispensary. This place, with all due respect, is a little bit of a zoo in the summertime. I much enjoy from Labor Day to Memorial Day, not the reverse. So I think you made a wise decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room? Yes, Steve.
Too old. My name is Ed South, 216 4th Street, Beach Haven. I'd like to know if anything has been done with the diner on the corner on the second house up from the diner.
Fred's Diner?
Fred's Diner.
Fred's Diner.
Fred's Diner.
Fred's, what's going on with Fred's Diner?
No worse.
Yeah, that.
Well, that's my mother-in-law. So I know Nollers very well, intimately. Fred's Diner, they did come to the land use board, and everything was approved, but nothing has moved forward. They haven't put in any type of permits.
Maybe explain to what they proposed.
Okay. So they proposed a candy store with 2 small apartments in the back.
All right, what about the driveways? Did they change it? Because they were only, there's no off-street, on-street parking, yet they had 10-foot driveways. How you going to drive a truck down a 10-foot driveway and go around the
They
corner?
still have the parking lot in the back, and that's where all the deliveries would go, and that's where the parking would go as well. And they have a proposed, which is in their site plan, like a 10-foot buffer of trees. There's a lot of vegetation all around it. They actually did have a meeting with the architectural review board as well to give them, what we kind of
Okay.
want. It's not going to look like what
Okay.
Ship Bottom's candy store is at all.
I just saw the original drawings,
And that was changed.
and I saw a lot of problems with it.
Yeah, that was changed, and they came back to the land use board and submitted a whole entirely new drawing and site plan, and that was,
Okay, is there any place I can possibly see it? I've brought up my life doing drawings and reading them and everything. Is there any place I could possibly see the new drawings?
is that?
You can always stop at my office and I can pull them out for you to take a
Okay.
look at. But
Course-
they haven't been into pull permits or start construction or demolition or anything yet.
Well, people have been in and out of the building, taking all the equipment and everything out of it. So I was just wondering what the story is. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone else in the room? How about on Zoom?
Any attendee on Zoom wish to be heard for public comment, you can raise an electronic hand. Seeing none?
Seeing none, we will close public comment and go to final remarks by council. And I believe today we start with Mr. Allen.
Okay, thank you. I think today was a pretty good meeting. I'm also very happy that Jamie was able to put that business district ordinance together. I think that's preserving the heart of our town, our downtown. Thank everybody that showed up in attendance to discuss the cannabis issue. And I'd also like to thank Chris and Jamie for running a successful bike auction the other day. It was right across, and they did a great job. They knocked it out of the park. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Bellmiller?
Not much, because my daughter's swim meet started at 5, so I'm gonna get the last free relay that she's in. Thank you, everybody, for coming, especially the residents of Glendola are very
Well represented.
Are very outspoken, and that's a good thing. And Chris is going to talk about her neighborhood watch, because she's definitely looking for solutions and people to help her out with that. But thank you again for coming. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Cross. Thank you for coming as well and giving us some updates as well. Being on the cannabis, what was it called? Cannabis
Task force.
task force.
We will probably have a dispensary in Atlantic Island. But we're doing it carefully.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming as well. And that's all I have.
Okay, Dr. Davis?
I have nothing to say. Thank you.
Mrs. Ruffler?
I do have something to say, yes, about the Neighborhood Watch program. It's not just my program, it's Chief Markowski and myself, and along with the police force and the officers are working together to try to come up with some solutions to the issues that we're seeing. And I spend a lot of time, which I probably shouldn't, reading Facebook comments of people making comments about what they see in town, what needs to happen. We need a task force. We need this, that, and the other thing. We have one. 3 people showed up last week, in addition to myself and the police officer. So please come out. I see a lot of talking and not a lot of action. I'd love to see some action and some solutions. So it's the every Friday at 6 p.m. Might not be ideal for every person, but if you can't make it in person, please send an email to neighborhoodwatch@beachhaven.gov, beachhaven-nj.gov. You can also find our website on the resources tab of the Beach Haven Borough's website. And we'll also be posting it on Facebook and social media. So the word is out there. So for those of you that didn't think that was happening, we are doing that, and we'd love your input and your support. So come out and join me and some others and really great police officers that we want to see what's going on. And again, I will continue to reiterate this. If you see something, say something. Thanks.
Chris, where's the meeting located?
Oh, yeah. So it's right here in the Borough Hall. So if you want, We come in through the Beach Haven Police Department doors, and we sit right in here. And it's from 6 to 7 p.m. And it's really a hard stop at 7 because the police officers need to get to work. But I'm always happy to stay behind and chat with people. So, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, just very quickly to wrap it up, one of the things I did want to say was thank you, Chris, for taking the initiative with this neighborhood watch. I think it's important. Every day almost, I get an email, a phone call about the whole situation with the kids in town. And please don't make any mistake. It is very concerning. Nobody's taking it lightly. We're trying to be proactive and do whatever we can do legally. And as you already know, that's a big problem. Our police force is shorthanded. They're doing the best they can. We do plan on trying to do some brainstorming off-season to see what other alternatives we can come up with. And we welcome your input. Okay, please don't just say, what are you going to do about it? We're trying everything we can think of, and if you have something to add, please jump in. I also just want to say this one more time, not to be preacher, but parents, please talk to your kids. I mean, they have to know the difference between fun and disrespecting other people's person, property, the town. You can have a lot of fun here without destroying the dune fences, the lifeguard stands, dumping trash all over. It's just, we've gotten away from the civility and what used to pass for fun, and now all of a sudden vandalism seems to be more the rage these days. Just talk to your kids. They probably are very good kids, but they might need a reminder, and it would really help if we all start to just give you a little more consideration to each other. Mm-hmm. Thank you all very much, and have a safe rest of your vacation or stay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.